You are walking into a room, perhaps a routine office meeting, feeling perfectly fine when someone suddenly makes a remark. It is not terribly insulting or deeply condescending, but it is entirely unkind. They might say, "Well, it is nice of you to finally show up," knowing full well it is a sharp dig. In that exact moment, the air leaves the room. You are caught completely off guard. Everyone around you feels the sudden tension, even if they do not know the deep history between the two of you. You are left standing there, grappling with a sudden, heavy choice about how to react.
Rude comments often function as hidden tests. The person speaking is trying to take your temperature, checking to see if they can easily provoke a reaction. You can picture this dynamic as a high-stakes card game. You are holding a hand of cards, and they are holding theirs. When they toss out that first rude remark, they are playing a card on the table, waiting quietly to see what you will do. You might feel the sudden burning urge to play along. You decide to lay down a 4. In response, they drop a 7. You find yourself wondering just how far you should push the exchange. But the painful reality is that engaging in this back and forth is a terrible game to play. Nobody ever wins that game. Everyone involved is going to lose. Eventually, someone will have to apologize, and it is usually the person who plays the final card or says the absolute worst thing that shuts the game down. When you match a rude comment with your own hostility, you are simply handing the other person a platform. You end up justifying their initial behavior, convincing them that you are exactly what their snide remark implied. If you double down and get defensive, the other person will only get more defensive in return, and the entire situation will continue to ramp up into a miserable lose-lose situation.
There is a much softer, wiser path you can take. Instead of stepping onto the battlefield, you can approach the moment with genuine curiosity. The very next time a comment catches you off guard, you can begin your response with a simple, disarming question regarding their intent. Did you mean? You might look at them calmly and ask, "Did you mean for that to sound rude? Or did you mean to be upsetting?"
His gentle technique works beautifully in the digital world too. Think of how often you find yourself reading a text message or a work email that feels inexplicably short. You might receive a message that just says, "Okay," and instantly you feel dismissed. It is so easy to assume the sender is not taking you seriously, which makes you want to shut them out entirely or fire back a lengthy 6-sentence paragraph full of defensive assumptions. In the fast-paced business world, short, expedient responses are completely normal, but they can still take you to a dark, negative place very quickly if you take them personally. Instead of guessing their intent or over-apologizing with long-winded explanations, you can simply reply, "Did you mean for that to sound short?" By offering this grace, you allow them to easily clear the air. More often than not, they will quickly explain that they were just in the middle of an errand or making a cup of coffee and only wanted to acknowledge the message.
Asking these probing questions extinguishes digital arguments before they even have a chance to spark. Of course, not all rude comments are direct. You will inevitably encounter passive-aggressive remarks. These are the comments made by people who lack the comfort to speak to your face, choosing instead to drop snarky, snide observations off to the side. You both know the comment is aimed entirely at you, but it is couched in a vague complaint, like someone sighing and saying, "It would be nice if somebody cared." When this happens, you have to pull the person entirely out of their current environment. You have to make them step back and truly hear what they just said. You can check them by saying, "It sounds like there is more to that." In that exact moment, you are pulling them out of their passive safety net. They suddenly realize you are catching their passive-aggressive behavior and refusing to let it fly by unnoticed. You could also try saying, "It sounds like you are having a hard day," or "It seems like we need to talk a little bit more." Using phrases like "it sounds like" or "it seems like" encourages them to bring the real issue to light, getting you much further than if you were to become reactive or defensive.
This approach requires an extra layer of grace when the passive aggression comes from family. When a relative makes comments under their breath at a family function, there is a deep history and a tangle of complex emotions wrapped up in the moment. If you respond with ugliness, they will feel justified in saying something even more direct. Instead, you must remember the surrounding context. There might be other family members or children present. You can lean on curiosity and gently ask, "Is there more to what you were saying?" This shows that you recognize the comment is coming from an unresolved place. By handling the situation with vast patience, you remove the hostility and open the door for genuine communication.
There is one final technique, and it is arguably the most powerful response of all. You can choose to respond with absolute silence. There is a specific physical trick to executing this correctly. When the rude comment hangs in the air, you simply look at the person and count. 1, 2, 3, 4.
4 seconds is a very long pause in a conversation. It is enough time to display a look of deep puzzlement, as if you find their behavior entirely curious. During those 4 long seconds, you are communicating something profound without opening your mouth. You are showing them that the comment was heard, evaluated, and ultimately concluded to be unworthy of a response. You know your truth, your presence, and your purpose. You take the words, acknowledge their presence, and leave them resting entirely untouched on the table. And then you simply turn and peacefully continue with your day.